After a month of rising costs at the gas pump, Texas drivers are seeing prices fall. The drop comes after the Biden administration announced plans to release millions of barrels of oil from the strategic petroleum reserves. Prices have gone down, but will it last? What does this mean for jobs and revenue tied to the Texas oil industry? Our Jennifer Sanders spoke to Todd Staples, the president of the Texas Oil and Gas Association. He shared insight about the developments and what could come next.
Last week, President Joe Biden, he did announce that there would be 15 million barrels, and those would be from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, slated for sometime in December. What does that mean for Texans in regards to oil prices and gas prices?
Well, I think we know that oil prices, gasoline prices are all influenced by global market circumstances. But when I think about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve being released, what I really want to see and what I think consumers need to hear from our federal government is that we have a long-term plan for domestic energy production, and that's really what's missing. And until we establish the fact that we're going to encourage oil and gas production, we're going to treat these assets like assets and not liabilities, we're going to continue to be vulnerable to worldwide circumstances.
You reference consumers. What can we expect? What is the outlook? What's the forecast as it relates to gas prices? It's been up and down, and now some people saying they're seeing lower prices. Will that last?
Well, we have seen lower prices recently, but and the American Petroleum Institute has indicated that there's about 4.5 million barrels more on hand than what everyone indicated that it would be. And I think that's why we're seeing the temporary reduction right now. But I think we're still going to have volatility as long as we do not determine in America that we want to be energy independent, that we want to be energy secure, and that we want to encourage the jobs and the growth and the production right here in America. So, these are commodities just like any other commodity might be. And until you have a plan, and right now, we just really don't have a plan for domestic energy production. And the reality is that oil and natural gas are indispensable. Oil and natural gas companies are producing this product in a more environmentally friendly way than any other country in the world. And that carbon dioxide emissions in America have been declining, while those same emissions have been increasing in countries like China and Russia. So if we want to have a lower carbon density for our fuels, producing those here in Texas makes a lot of sense.
And how does the current climate affect the Texas energy sector and jobs?
Well, it's been a very difficult one. I was speaking with producers last week out in Midland, and they told me that costs have increased about 30% this year over last year. And so when you have costs that are increasing, you have our federal government that is discouraging domestic energy production. It creates uncertainty, and you have investment pressures. You have supply chain issues and workforce issues that are all impacting the ability to go produce more. And so we really need to get some certainty here. And I think when you have that, you'll see companies in America making long-term investment plans. When you have inflation impacting oil and gas production, just like it is families at home, what that means is you're putting more money into production, but you're not getting any more production out of that increased investment. And that's a troubling factor. And we hope that inflation is under control soon and that we see more yield with the type of investment that we're seeing in the marketplace.
The Federal Energy Information Administration tracks the short-term outlook for the price of West Texas Intermediate crude. Right now, it's hard to predict that value. For January, the administration forecasts a barrel could sell for as low as $52 or as high as $132. The ongoing war in Ukraine could push prices to the high end of those estimates, while the risk of worldwide recession could move prices lower. Thank you again for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. We'll be back next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.